In the mid-1800s, hospitals were supposed to be places of healing. But deep inside the maternity wards of Europe, a silent horror was unfolding. Healthy young women were coming in to give birth, and then dying in agony just days later. It wasn't the childbirth itself that was killing them. It was something else, something invisible and terrifying that doctors called childbed fever. The death toll was staggering. In some hospitals, as many as 1 in every 3 mothers would never leave alive. They were dying, and no one knew why. But one man started to notice a pattern. His name was Ignaz Semmelweis, a Hungarian doctor working at the Vienna General Hospital. He was haunted by the screams coming from the maternity ward. He noticed something truly strange. The ward was split into 2 clinics. One was run by doctors and medical students, and the other by midwives. In the midwives' clinic, the death rate was low, around 4%, but in the doctor's clinic, it was a bloodbath, sometimes reaching over 18%. Women would literally beg on their knees not to be sent to the doctor's ward. Knowing it was a death sentence, Semmelweis became obsessed. What was the difference? He investigated everything, the birthing positions, the ventilation, even religious rites. Nothing explained the massive gap in deaths. Then, he started looking closer at the doctors themselves. Their daily routine was to perform autopsies on the women who had died from childbed fever in the morning, and then, with those same unwashed hands, go straight to the maternity ward to examine pregnant women and deliver babies. Midwives, on the other hand, never touched cadavers. Could the doctors be carrying death on their very own hands? The horrifying answer came when a close friend and colleague of Semmelweis accidentally cut his finger with a scalpel during an autopsy. His friend quickly fell ill and died, showing the exact same symptoms as the women with childbed fever. Suddenly, it all clicked into place for Semmelweis. He called them cadaverous particles. He realized that doctors were transferring something from the dead bodies directly to the living mothers. It was a revolutionary idea. Decades before Louis Pasteur would prove germ theory, Semmelweis didn't know what these particles were, but he knew how to get rid of them. His solution was shockingly simple: hand washing. He ordered every doctor and student to scrub their hands and instruments in a solution of chlorinated lime before entering the maternity ward. The smell was awful, but the results were nothing short of miraculous. Almost overnight, the death rate in his clinic plummeted from 18% to less than 1%. He had solved the puzzle. He had stopped the killing. He was saving thousands of lives. You would think the medical world would celebrate him as a hero. You would be wrong. Instead, he was met with scorn and outrage. The established doctors of Vienna were insulted. How dare this? Young Hungarians suggest that they, esteemed gentlemen of science, were the cause of death. The idea that a doctor's hands could be unclean was a personal affront. They dismissed his findings, mocked his statistics, and refused to adopt his simple, life-saving practice. His contract at the hospital was not renewed. Driven from Vienna, Semmelweis returned to Hungary. But the rejection continued. He published his findings, but the medical journals ignored him. He wrote furious, desperate letters to prominent doctors across Europe, calling them murderers for their ignorance. His frustration and rage grew, consuming him. The man who had saved so many was seen as a madman. In 1865, under the pretense of visiting a new medical institute, his own colleagues lured him into an insane asylum. When he realized the trick and tried to escape, he was brutally beaten by the guards. Just 2 weeks later, Ignaz Semmelweis died, alone and forgotten, from an infected wound on his hand. A cruel, tragic irony. He died from the very type of infection he had taught the world how to prevent. Years later, scientists like Pasteur and Lister would prove germ theory, and hand washing would become the cornerstone of modern medicine, saving countless millions of lives. But the pioneer who saw the truth long before anyone else never lived to see his vindication. His story is a powerful reminder that progress is often met with resistance, and that sometimes the greatest minds are the ones the world is not yet ready for. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as moving as I did, please like and subscribe for more.